Howdy folks, and welcome back to WAC. There are a lot of important topics to talk about in this video, so I'll separate them into segments. We'll be talking about the new officer system, the elite drone mothership, coastal batteries, zombies, patrol boats, and how the current loadout system works. This is, of course, for the multi-platform strategy game Supremacy World War III. Previously known as Conflict of Nations. Timestamps for each section of the video are on screen and in the description. But first, it's time for a quick word from this video sponsor. Are you a Conflict of Nations veteran? Are you an exceptional player? Want to be part of a growing community? Then consider the RNG Alliance. RNG has incredible events, a huge community of fellow gamers, and the biggest payouts for professional players. With over 2,700 server members and more to arrive with recent alliance mergers, RNG is unstoppable. So what are you waiting for? Join the Discord server using the link down below and get connected to our community so you can really start having fun in Supremacy World War III. One of the biggest changes to the game in recent memory is the new officer system. Previously, we had a tab in the research tree dedicated to officers of various types. Now, those classic officers have been renamed to veterans and moved into the standard research tabs, from infantry to armor and air force. With this change, they have all been rebalanced as well. Part of the rebalancing is that there is no longer a rank requirement to research the later levels. I have been wanting to research the stealth fixed-wing officer for basically forever, so I am very excited for this. In the current version of the Officers tab, you will see some new faces. As of now, we have an uncommon infantry officer, epic fixed-wing officer, a rare naval officer, and finally the uncommon anti-air officer, with more likely to be released in the future. This is basically the same system that has been in Supremacy 1914 and is now transplanted into Supremacy World War III. Now that we have two different types of ground officers, we may see multiple versions of other types of officers in the distant future. Keep in mind that these new officers are quite a bit different from the veterans because you first have to unlock them before they become available for research. The infantry officer John Rays is available to everyone for free. Just go to the web shop for Supremacy World War III and go to the free gift section at the very bottom. This is the same place where you can currently claim 100 gold each day. Any of the other officers have to be purchased as of now. Also, as a quick note, you save money when buying gold on this web shop. And if you use the code WAC at checkout, you can support this channel if you happen to find my videos helpful. Now, the big thing with the new officers is that instead of offering a generic army boost, they offer very specific bonuses based on their level. They are leveled up with bronze, silver, and gold officer medals, which for now are purchased via the web store. In the future, you will be able to earn these medals through mission rewards, end of match rewards, and as gifts from Twin Harbors. Hopefully they get to adding the earnable medals soon. And when it comes to the bonuses these officers provide, sometimes it's to all infantry, like with Rays, but other officers only provide bonuses to specific unit types. With the new naval officer Don Wolf, for example, he only provides his bonus to frigates, elite frigates, cruisers, as well as helicopter and aircraft carriers. This is fantastic for balancing, and may partially avoid making the new officers too OP, and gives the devs more flexibility for making and marketing new officers, as well as adding variety for the player base. Don Wolf, or Irontide, was made to buff frigates and cruisers since destroyers have become so meta with the addition of sea mines to the game. A stack of destroyers with the naval veteran will do amazing around naval choke points, but a stack of cruisers with Irontide would be unbeatable in the deep sea unless faced with a submarine threat. And it's nice because you can research both the veteran and the officer at the same time, meaning you have more options if you want to split up your forces. And no, you cannot have a veteran and an officer in the same stack. Halfway through making the script, the anti-officer was released. She is the first support unit officer, which is pretty cool. She provides bonuses for anti-air and speed of mobile AA and SAMs. She also buffs the anti-air capabilities of the level 1 and 2 railgun. A nice addition, I'd say, and it makes me wonder if we'll get a heavy aircraft officer at some point. Overall, the release of these officers adds variety to the game, which I certainly enjoy. Though in this initial launch, you might see some pay-to-win players having maxed out officers before they give the ability for players to earn medals and officers in-game. Though, if you drop about $10 on bronze and silver medals, you can get some high-value level ups with some of the officers. Now, time to talk about everything naval. There's a lot here, so let's start with the new seasonal unit, the Elite Drone Mothership. Seems like they're dipping a little bit more into the sci-fi end of things with emerging military technologies, which is a good move for the game, I think. This isn't just a drone operator on sea. It's another great addition to the big list of naval vessels we have to choose from. It is a tool you can use to extend the range of your naval stacks, and instead of using cash to deploy drones, this vessel requires deployable gear for each type except for the recon drones. Obviously, with this thing being a glorified barge, it doesn't do too well when engaging ships directly. It launches drones like the drone operator does, but these are unique to the drone mothership. The naval recon drone has a little more sight range than the ground-launched ones. The naval explosive drone does a little less damage than the standard variant, which makes sense considering Twin Harbors doesn't just want Navy to be a guaranteed quick win against ground targets. The naval sabotage drone is interesting because it has less HP, less damage against buildings, but more damage against ships. This elite vessel can also deploy sea mines, which is incredibly valuable. If you want to know the ins and outs of sea mines, check out this video. Lastly, the naval drone mothership can also launch sea drones. These are based off of the real naval drones we've seen in recent wars. Autonomous boats that are difficult to detect and carry a huge payload. They are certainly more effective than sabotage drones against ships and have no radar signature at the max level. For anti-ship drones, the max potential damage in one salvo is 62 for a single max level mothership and 310 for a full stack of elite barges. If you trap some ships in a melee engagement with your sea mines, you'll have a much better time hitting your target. Oh, and they are fully controllable until the timer runs out. From what I can gather, this provides an alternative to the other carriers. Instead of having vulnerable helicopters or naval fighters on deck, you can store potential damage in the form of deployable gear, and a lot of units do not have a good counter for drones. Pulling up to someone's coastline with landing troops, some proper ships, and a few of these drone motherships would be an attack that would be difficult to preempt. Next up is the newish naval unit, the patrol boat. It is the newest, best way to mobilize the bare minimum on your coastal cities to prevent basic land invasions. At level 1, this is the only use for it, as even corvettes and elite troop transports will sink these rubber ducky boats no problem. But if an enemy is inactive and is bombarding a city, sometimes you can get one of these to attack that distracted ship for free. And I thought these things were basically just to protect against troop transports, but one of the devs told me that these actually performed pretty well in competitive gameplay. And that is because at the max level, they have no radar signature. This means that these max level boats can hit and run other ships so long as it stays out of their view range. It is also the second fastest vessel in coastal waters and has radar that exceeds its firing range. So if you are an incredibly sweaty and active player, the patrol boat can perform a similar role to AIP submarines. For the final naval-related topic, we have the Coastal Battery. Basically, it is a new province building that can only be built along water, and provides a stationary anti-ship gun to protect your territory. These are great for defending narrow passages against troop transports and minor surface threats. To see if you are able to build one on a province, click your desired destination and go to the Support tab. If the shoreline gun emplacement is available, you'll first want to build an army outpost. Then you can build or queue up the coastal battery. You can level up these guns by researching towed artillery, and the gun emplacements will automatically go to level 2 and 3 based on the tier of towed artillery that has been researched. Yes, you can overstack these past 10 and have a ridiculously high HP anti-ship decoy. Ships will do very little damage against these emplacements since they are armored ground targets. But keep in mind, units such as bombers will have a very easy time taking these out if you don't have AA watching over them. Okay, this next in-game system is new, slick, and quite a bit different from its original implementation, and that is the loadout system. I actually made a video on the original pharmaceuticals, but I decided to unlist that video because of how much different the new pharmaceutical consumable is. Medical care is the first of the 4 loadout sections you have to choose from. Originally, it was a time-limited attack boost. With the current pharmaceuticals, you can choose to heal your infantry units or give them a defense bonus. These can be produced in a city with a hospital and arms industry after they have been researched. Ground munitions can be researched in the engineering teams section, and only affect armored units. And no, that does not affect rocket artillery. Luckily. With these, you can also heal or increase your attack. Sea munitions, next to crew training, does the same thing but for naval vessels. Air munitions in the heavy loadout section can only be used to increase the attack for aircraft, not to heal. And from what I understand, an attack or defense bonus gives you 1 charge per use of the consumable, and each time you engage in combat, it uses one of those charges. This is a lot better than having a time-limited buff, in my opinion. Overall, the new loadout system is in a pretty good spot right now. It's not pay to win, it's just another layer to the gameplay. You basically get to invest time researching and resources into on-demand combat power. I don't think this will make or break most engagements, but these consumables will be a great way to lose less of your men from attrition and war weariness. Man, I feel like this game has actually been getting a suitable amount of content in recent months. I've been slacking so much that I have to jam all this information into one video. But hey, I'm back folks, and if you are interested in deep dives on any of these specific topics, let me know in the comments down below. One of the things that Twin Harbors has been working on in the background is the doctrine system. If you were European, Western, or Eastern doctrine in the past, it meant that you might change your playstyle in casual matches, but it forces you to choose specific units in competitive games. Now, however, they are looking to change things from "the US has the best fixed-wing aircraft, bar none," to different producers of aircraft have different strengths and weaknesses. They want units to have different flavors, and I think what they changed with the air superiority fighters is a great look as to what they may change with other unit types in the future. With the new ASF, the American jets will be cheaper to produce and do more damage against other jets. European jets will have more HP and ground attack. Russian jets will be a little faster and have 150 more range. Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. As an enjoyer of variety, this will make playing different nations with different doctrines a lot more interesting. If they add doctrinal differences like this to most other units in the game, it would add options for advanced players while still being subtle enough where new or casual players wouldn't really have to stress about it. City population and manpower generation have also been adjusted. Previously, it was honestly pointless to build hospitals for the sole purpose of increasing population growth. Now, however, if you make a level 2 or higher military hospital in a city, your population will grow even faster, and the resource bonus for max population is now greater. When it comes to manpower, the lower level recruiting offices will yield less of a manpower increase, and the higher level recruiting offices will be more worthwhile to build. This basically makes manpower production less excessive in the early and mid game, while making late game manpower generation a lot more sustainable if you invest in high level recruiting offices. These changes to population and manpower mechanics are absolutely fantastic in my opinion. I think this will lead me to build level 2 hospitals in my electronic and fuel city, and a level 4 or 5 in my rare material city. I'll probably want to build level 2 recruiting offices once I max out all of my arms industries and have a level 4 or 5 recruiting office in my most precious mobilization city. They are wanting to make late game planning a lot more viable of a strategy, and I think this is a great direction for the game. I am sometimes left dissatisfied if my team wins too quickly or if a game ends before day 30. It's rare to see a developer want to make their online matches last longer, so I appreciate that they are focusing on this. Lastly, I wanted to touch on the new Zombies Evolution game mode. I've played a bit of it, and man, it's intense. The zombies can now build up their main structures within cities, and the higher the level of that hive structure, the stronger the type of zombies it can mobilize. I'll show you a couple examples of the type of stuff you can see. Yeah, I like that this game mode is actually hyper unique with properly challenging AI. But these zombies can have some pretty dang good anti-air capabilities, so missiles are a very good tool to use against them. I like to use mechanized infantry for holding onto cities while the morale is below 33%. This is because they do well against zombies, which are considered armored targets, and they have the HP to deal with them and be relatively fine after. Well, that works for the mindless zombies at least, which are the units that replace Rogue State in this game mode. This is a special ticket event that comes around every so often. But yeah, that should be most of the relevant news for Supremacy World War III since my last update video. Thanks again to the RNG Alliance for sponsoring this video, and if you want a Supremacy World War III community to join, they are a fun-loving and active group of absolute lads. Thanks so much for sticking till the end. See ya!